This is going to be amazing. If you guys want to be a part of it, get your seats over here right now because it's about to kick off. Are we ready? All right. Let's bring it up right now. Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years.
Hey, what's up, Nashville? My name is Lisa Axelface. I'm your moderator today. I'm in the Decline Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, with Faster Pussycat, and there's a great interview with me and Brett Smith. And I'm your moderator today, so first of all, let's say hi to Mark from Seduce, originally from Detroit. Come on up. Starting up. Next up, we got Mr. Rick Fox, originally from New York. From Los Angeles, California, Mr. Stevie Rochelle from Tuff. And the one and only proprietor of the Cathouse, Mr. Riki Rachtman. Now it's a thing, all these years later,
Check 1, 2.
We're gonna be here doing a panel about the decline of Western civilization shot at the Cathouse. It's crazy to me, but here we are. The one thing I didn't know before I got involved in this panel was who the hell was Seduce and how were they in the film? And after talking to Mark, well, I think I'll let you tell the story.
Well, she asked me how do we get in the movie, and basically we were signed with IRS Records, Miles Copeland being the owner of that, and IRS World Media, which paid for the Decline movie. IRS started a metal diversion of their label, and we were one of the bands on that roster, and everybody gave Penelope an idea of who they were. We videotaped our house, our band house, where the band and the crew all lived together, and that's how she picked us, because it was like she came to our house and we had snakes and alligators and just craziness, and that was our band house.
And how did you get all those cool cars in the film? Because your scene is everyone's driving around. It's some really cool old vintage cars.
Well, being Detroit guys in Motor City, we're into cars. We all had cars, hot rods and stuff like that. When we flew into LA, the movie company picked us up. We're like, look at that car, oh, look at that car. They said, you guys are really into cars. And we said, yeah. So they had the idea for the interview part of the movie to interview us in cars. So they took us to this huge movie car lot, and we got to pick our cars. And that's what they filmed us in. But luckily, the odometer didn't work on my Cadillac that I had, and I got to keep it for 2 weeks. David and Chuck, my guitar player drummer, had to turn theirs in. So I was tooling around LA in that big old 56 Cadillac convertible, pissing people off because I'm just, and there's Porsches trying to pass me and stuff,
Now, when exactly did you guys shoot your scene? Because it was a little bit later than the July filming at Cathouse?
Yeah, we did ours October 17th, 87.
So it was
My birthday.
well,
Penelope bought me a cake. Yeah.
Well, that was very nice, Penelope.
Yeah.
And Rick, so you ended up not in a performance scene, but in a light bulb interview scene with your then singer. How did you end up in the film, besides knowing Penelope and Anna? Was that just the connection?
Penelope's daughter, Anna, came up to me in the Cathouse. She goes, my mom's doing a film, you want to be in it? Sure, what's it about? Just, rock stars, rock life. I'm like, all right, fine. Gave me all the particulars, where to be, et cetera, and so forth. Light bulb scene was the interview. They called it Light Bulb Kids. That was one of the segments they did. They did a segment. They were filming around the Cathouse when Faster Pussycat was playing, and I was there with a couple of girls, 2 different girls I had dated at 2 different time periods, but knew each other. Bambi was one, and then Christina was the other one. She's gone, opening her shirt, showing off her bra and whatnot. But the light bulb thing is I was actually in incredible pain when we did that. I had stubbed my toe against the door in my apartment before I left, and the cowboy boots are really tight. So I'm just trying to keep my composure. Anyway, and Penelope's asking us, do this sign. No, we don't do that. We do this. This is Dad, 2 X's. We're forming a band called Sex. Those are the 2 X's in Sex. But that was pretty much, the whole light bulb thing.
Wow, that's awesome. So Stevie, I always wondered my whole thing was, how did Odin get this big scene in the film and Tuff was not doing a live performance?
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for everybody to coming out to Rock and Pod and listening to the panel here. Give it up. the way we got involved in that film is we were just flyering on the strip, hanging out, walking around, and at some point Penelope was down there with a crew, a film crew filming. So there's a few different segments where we're on the strip in front of Gazzari's, and I'm with a blonde, call her model, friend of mine named Rochelle, who was actually in the Miss California pageant, so have to throw that in there. But we were handing out flyers, that was some of the scenes, and then she said, hey, I want to interview you guys, and then we did what Rick just talked about. There was another place down across from or next to the Riot House, near the Hyatt, is that where on Sunset?
Yeah.
And they did the light bulb, interviews with us. And it was great, we got, that definitely gave us some legs because we were only a band with me for a couple of months when that was getting filmed. And then when it actually aired, it became, it was in the theaters and kind of gave us a little bit more national exposure.
It did.
Because we got, various clips in there as Tuff,
Well, exactly. And I mean, I know we all knew Penelope and Anna and various other connections with John James, Nikki Sixx, but how did Penelope approach you, Riki, about shooting at the Cathouse? Was that just her logical destination for the film?
I have no idea. I don't remember anything except that my roommate had a band called Faster Pussycat, and they were like, hey, we're gonna do Faster Pussycat, and that was, you gotta understand, at that time, that was 1987. The Cathouse was open in 1986.
Yeah.
My appearance on the Metal Years was the first time I was ever in front of a camera, ever.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was, well, obviously. And we shot my segment at noon, and I don't been up probably about 2 days on crystal meth and alcohol, and I was wasted. I was so fucked up.
I'm disgusted.
And, well, the interesting thing is I ended up getting sober 2 years after that, before people cared. In 1988, I got sober, and so I still get to go back and watch me with long hair and makeup, fucked up, drinking, and being like, that's how we get a girl. We don't put the air conditioner on. I'm just watching that, and I was so smashed. So when they called me, people don't understand, I didn't ever have this vision that I would be making a living on radio. I never had an idea that I'd be the host of Headbangers Ball. And sure in hell, I think the Cathouse was open 60 or 70 years ago. I still didn't think that I would be on, because I do tours talking about that time, still talking about the Cathouse. The Cathouse was not opened. I was the guy that created the Cathouse with Tammy. It wasn't open because I thought, this is gonna be this brand, it's gonna be, I'm a promoter, it's honestly, I opened it because I wanted to meet girls and get free drinks and have a place that we wouldn't have to clean up the next day. Because all my friends, everybody I knew was in a band. It's people would go up to me hey, are you Riki Rachtman? Yeah, I'm yeah. They're where's Axel? Hey, are you Riki Rachtman? Yeah, where's Tammy? Where's Nikki? Where's everybody? Nobody gave a hell about me. But when I opened the Cathouse, they cared about me if nobody else was around.
Well, but
they asked me to be in that movie because they were going to film Faster Pussy at the Cathouse, and here's this young kid, barely 21, that's got a club that's rapidly becoming one of the biggest clubs, and help part of the scene. I didn't create the scene. Cathouse didn't create the scene. We were just the hub of such a beautiful, incredible scene that it was this right place, right time. So when they asked if I wanted to come be in the movie, I'm you're gonna do a movie about our little scene?
Right.
I'm okay. Okay. I mean, to be honest, the only band, when all that was starting, all the people that I hung out with back then, the Cathouse alumni as we call them, they all wore Cathouse vests. They were all from Detroit, so they all knew about Seduce.
Right.
They were all oh, dude, I know Guns N' Roses. It's all about Seduce. Everybody, all my friends, which Michael and Kenny and even Chuck Burns. These were all my friends that were in Seduce. So when it was the Metal Years, I was and I started as a punk, and I'm sorry for taking up so much time. I started as a punk in 1979 and 1980. So I knew Decline of Western Civilization Part 1. So when they said they were going to make a movie about our scene, I didn't think our scene would represent some of the greatest rock and roll bands in the world. So I just thought Oh, you're gonna talk to me? Okay, I'm still drunk and it's noon. Okay.
Right.
Hey, we're getting girls in the Cathouse. I'm all goofy, but it was fun. I mean, you know, I look at the metal years as being fun, but also being kind of sad. You know, because
because we were all kind of fucked up filming from noon until 2 o'clock in the morning. And if people don't know this, the Cathouse in the film is not the original location. Osco's Disco on La Cienega was the original location. It opened September 23rd, 1986 on my 18th birthday. And that's when we had a big party there, and the night it opened, and it was like this thing. But like Riki said, this was just our place that we all hung out with our friends. It was like, our friends got this club, let's go drink. And now that all these years later, it's become like a cultural touchstone of that era, that time, that look, that music. If people told any of us then that we're going to be here now, it's kind of mind-blowing.
I was there.
Rick was there. I mean,
opening night.
Absolutely.
I still have the flyers.
Rick was there. The funny thing is, like, I didn't like Stevie back then when he was in Tuff. What? I didn't.
Thanks, Riki.
Well, I didn't. You know, I didn't like you. I didn't like Stevie when he was in
Ricky
Tuff.
didn't like glam bands. He didn't like glam bands.
That's true.
But the truth is, I would say, like, Stevie's one of my better friends these days, which we ended up bonding through skateboarding of all things. But when me and Stevie get on the phone, it's like a long. We talk forever because I love this guy. But back then, you know, but people don't understand about the Sunset Strip. And Rick and Lisa, you know this as well, is the Sunset Strip, if everybody thinks like the Sunset Strip was Poison and Warren, and it wasn't. We all had our different scenes. There was a Tuff scene, there was a Guns N' Roses, Faster Pussycat, Cathouse scene, there was a Gazzari scene. Like, I went to Gazzari's once in my whole life. You know, we had, and Rick knew everybody in all the scenes, but we had our little pockets. But the beauty of that, I was all like, nobody can ever bring a camera in the Cathouse because I want everybody to do whatever they want to do.
And they did.
Which sucks now,
But
because
now
it would be
it's like,
great if there was a
God.
lot of old photos. That would be awesome if they existed.
Right,
But
I know.
most of them don't.
Well, I relaunched the Cathouse Hollywood podcast, so I know it's not listed as some of the other podcasts here, but if you want to hear the Cathouse stories, you can hear the Cathouse Hollywood podcast, then I'm going to shut up and let everybody else talk. This is the craziest thing, I go on tour now, where I go to theaters and clubs, and I talk about Cathouse stories and Headbangers Ball stories and sex, drugs, rock and roll, and what's it like being the host of Headbangers Ball and then being a car salesman. And I'm playing in Nashville May 19th at the City Winery here. So I'm done talking, and there you go. I'm sorry for taking up all the time.
And I will say that Riki's right. We were never best buddies by any stretch, but we would show up. We'd be milling around outside. There would be kind of a little bit more of a VIP list of people that could get in. And there was a few nights where we're there, and I remember Riki looking at me, and we were a very popular band, and he looked at his door guy and goes, you let those two guys in, it's cool. Wouldn't make eye contact with me, but he gave the guy the nod to let me in, so. And I was dating the hottest waitress at the club, so.
You weren't the only one.
That's the thing a lot of people don't know is in the scene at the time, there was like the Valley Rockers, the East Side Rockers, Hollywood, people from Detroit. There was all these different groups of people, and they didn't really mix, and they didn't really like each other. So there were like occasional fights at certain clubs.
There was condescension.
But there wasn't fights at the Cathouse.
Well, no, not bad fights. I mean, there was like a little thing here and there. But
Tuff was a Valley band.
yeah, that was for sure.
Valley.
You're a Valley
But they
band.
were big, so I was like, respect for respect, Rick was there. Rick was always there since day one. He was just always there.
And the funny thing, the skateboarder thing, I didn't know until I talked to Stevie a few days ago that you were going to be assigned skateboarder, like endorsement deal, and you chose fucking music over your skateboarding career. Like you were going to be.
I moved to Florida in the end of '84, early '85 to pursue being a professional skater. But at that time, the music had kind of started to take over, and at some point I decided, do I want to be Tony Hawk or Vince Neil?
Right, and Vince Neil got more pussy, so sorry.
So yeah.
Exactly.
So then, the skating just kind of fell by the wayside.
Lisa is in my show. I have videos of things that have happened in my life, and I play that excerpt. So whether Lisa knows, she's in my show.
And we're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame together. You, me, Tammy, and Brett Smith forever in that like time capsule of 18 to 22, man.
Rock and roll.
I know, we're in the Rock Hall.
Hello, Cathouse. tell me about Cathouse, Riki.
There's more girls here than anywhere in the world. And we play rock and roll. All we do, now we don't like add in, some clubs will play a little bit of rock and roll. We play only rock and roll. And it's just a real big, fun, sleazy place.
Where do you think I found his ass, huh? Cathouse.
So why do you guys come to Cathouse?
Fucking rocks, bitches.
Rock
Great.
and roll, heavy metal.
Party, drink.
Fucking Best for Pussycat, Guns N' Roses, LA.
It's what American rock and roll is all about. You want to know what rock and roll is about, come to the Cathouse. Because rock and roll is about a lot more than just music.
It's more than music, it's just an attitude, you know?
So could you call this place a pickup joint?
Definitely. That's one of the main reasons it was opened up.
So Stevie, what got you to decide to disclose to the world that you were behind Metal Sludge? What motivated that?
Well, at some point from the beginning, it was planned to do it anonymously, kind of like what the Unknown comic was. If anybody remembers that comedian used to wear the paper bag over his head, we thought, if I tell whatever we're telling or saying and having an opinion, they'll be like, oh, that's the guy from Tuff, so screw him. But at some point, more money started coming in. So having a bank account under Janie Bon Neal wasn't going to work. So we had to kind of come full circle and be somewhat organized and realistic, which I was, and we were doing it undercover with a bank account and buying and selling. And there was a small circle that knew, but the circle started getting bigger, and after 5 or 6 years, and then we started generating the better part of 6 figures in annual income. Well, you could no longer hide it.
There was always like a rumor that it was you, but Donna from Donna's Hoe Bag now, is that you or is that someone else we don't know?
No, Donna Anderson was Donna D'Erico and Pamela Anderson, and we morphed the names together to make her as the female rep of the site. But really, there wasn't a girl. It was me and my partner. But we would occasionally ask somebody for an opinion of the female persuasion.
Perspective.
You know what the most surprising
Josie
thing
Pearl, for instance.
I found the most surprising thing is on Metal Sludge, there's a section that rates all these rock stars' dicks.
That's what we're talking about.
That's the craziest thing. Stevie was the one behind that too. He raced, how he saw so much rock star dick, I have no idea.
Here comes the dick
but
joke.
That was like ridiculous.
That's why I was asking, like, so how do you know about all these people?
Who was behind that?
Well, we were, you know, me and my partner, but it was because we started getting information, like girls would write into the site and go, oh my God, I went out with insert name here, he was so drunk and he had the tiniest dick, and then they tell us some crazy story and we're like, oh my God, we gotta print this, you know? And little by little, it just...
was in there. Wasn't it Blackie Lawless in one of the smallest dicks?
It just kind of took on a life of its own. The whole site did, you know, everything.
It did, and we were all kind of taking bets because there was a rumor it was you behind it, but it was like, Stevie from Tuff, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Everything, the interviews, the features, the Sludgeette of the month, the Sludgeaholic, the top 10 lists, the penis chart, the hair club for men chart, whatever. Like, everything just started small, but it grew.
The Rick Fox dartboard section. Let's bounce on Rick today.
It just kind of grew.
It's it. Anybody, questions, comments, complaints? Hey.
So Stevie, were you moving furniture when you found out MTV was playing your video?
Technically, no, but I was working for a moving company up until that period. As a matter of fact, when we signed our contract, our drummer called the office. I was on a moving truck, moving an apartment in Hollywood, and Michael had to get the address and came out, and I had to take a break, and in the back of the moving truck literally signed the Atlantic Records contract, which he filmed, and it's on the Tuff home video. And I told the lady, hey, I have to take a 5-minute break. And so yeah, I signed that contract while I was on the moving van. By the time the record came out, we went on tour. I was obviously making money from touring, not a lot, but I was sustaining. But by the time that first record ended, and then Atlantic Records said, thank you, but no thanks, on the next record, I was back at the moving company shortly after.
Which moving company was it? Load, Lock, and Roll?
Load, Lock, and Roll.
I work for them too. Mike Gellum.
Mike Gellum. Exactly.
Hi.
What's up, everybody? Riki, I got a question for you. A person who's been through everything in the music business, but your claim to fame initially with the Cathouse, and you see things, 35 years later with the industry across the country and the club scene. What can be changed, in your opinion, to make the club scene better?
If people ask me, and this is sort of answering your question, what killed the music scene? And if you think that Nirvana killed it, you're a fucking idiot. What killed the music scene, especially in Hollywood, I'll tell you what I think killed the music scene. I think what killed the music scene, I don't know how you guys feel about it, was when they made the law that you couldn't pass out flyers, because that killed all the electricity and the vibrance of people going out on the Sunset Strip. I think what needs to do is, the problem is that we don't go out anymore. We get our information, we get our entertainment from our fucking phones. I hope it's okay to swear. That people aren't going out. If you want to support the club scene, go to a club, even if you don't know the band. Support live music. Go to a show. Buy merch. The problem is, we need to wait. Hey, are you going to go see blah, 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 blah? I heard they're a metal band. No, I'm going to wait until Maiden comes to town. Go out and enjoy the culture. The reason the Cathouse opened up as a dance club, it was only rock and roll, but the reason I opened up as a rock and roll dance club is I wanted people to go there every single week and not wait to see who played. And then the first band to play there was Guns N' Roses, so I said, okay, I'll let them play. But people would go to the Cathouse without knowing who's playing, and that's the way it is. The reason that rock clubs aren't having live bands is because they're not making money. And if people go out and they go see a band, even if it's a rock band that you like, maybe you're not even crazy about, go support bands. Clubs need to lower the prices. They need to stop gouging people for drinks. They need to stop taking a percentage of the merch for the bands. But us as consumers, we need to buy merchandise online and in person. We need to support bands that we just like. Not that we just love, we need to see bands that we like. We need to get there a little bit early to see the opening band, because you might like a band that you never saw before. And we need to get out and support live music. You can't talk about a scene being dead if you're sitting on your ass looking at some guy do something with mayonnaise on TikTok. You need to get the fuck out. People need to make it more accessible. Do free shows where you have bands play. It's all of our fault. It's the venue's fault. It's the band. It's not the band's fault, but it's us as consumers. We need to get the hell out and go to a show, even if we think we're just gonna like it.
You know what, Riki? Pay to Play had its hand on that knife too. Pay to Play helped destroy a lot of that.
Cathouse, if you want to listen to Cathouse Hollywood podcast, I'll kill the punchline right now for episode 1. Only one band ever paid to play the Cathouse, and that was the Black Crowes. No band ever paid to play the Cathouse.
I wasn't referring to Cathouse.
Yeah, but you're right. That killed the scene. But we gotta go out and support bands. We gotta tell everybody bands and see young bands. I love seeing people my age on stage, but I like seeing kids. When you see a kid that's walking down the street with a Slayer shirt, you don't say name 3 songs, you say fucking right on. Are you also familiar with Megadeth and Testament or whatever?
And Tuff.
Or Tuff, Tuff. But
or Steeler.
Live, exactly. All these guys. Go see bands, and I also wish that some of these newer bands would like I used to tell Tammy, I'm like, and no offense to any of the bands that Tammy, because Tammy from Faster Pussycat is my brother. I love that man. But I wish that he would have gotten a gig opening up for like Avenged Sevenfold or something, Like I wish some of these bands from our era, would play with other bands, So, but the problem is us. We need to support music. Listen to every fucking rock podcast, Sorry.
Rant on, Riki.
I have a serious question. So, back in high school, I picked a copy of Too Much Ain't Enough on vinyl at my local record shop. It was a used copy. But it's been a long time since I've seen it. But it is like a white vinyl or a green vinyl. Is that true how it came out?
No, originally came out just black vinyl like usual. But they've been re-released since then, which come out with different colors.
No, not at all, because this was when I was 15, 16 years old,
Yeah.
51. Now, so I was curious why it was a different color. Do you have any idea?
It might have been a promotion thing from the IRS, because our first album I know was all black, just regular. IRS might have put out a few, like double-sided singles, things like that. I think they might have did a white one with Homicide or something like that. But I wasn't aware if they put out a bunch, you know, it was like the hidden thing, like they're going to win a vacation or something like that. But
so maybe I'll get on the Facebook page and post a picture of it. And,
yeah.
Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm just curious.
You didn't paint your house having that out or something, did you? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Who else we got who wants to ask a question? Anybody? We're running out of time. Cathouse questions? Come on. Someone's got a really good question.
Shout out to the Stars t-shirt.
Oh, right. I saw that. Yeah, for sure. I saw you. Stars t-shirt.
I have one of those too.
I bought a base from Richie Reno.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And a shout out to my booth, which is right over there against that wall with the big Tuff banner behind it. So,
and a shout out for Tyson out there for the show last night. Yeah.
It was a great time.
Rare hair is a great thing here in Nashville.
Ripped it up, brother.
Man plays every instrument available.
And come see me at the City Winery on May 19th.
And you play with an old friend of mine, Roxy, from Detroit.
No one else has questions? This is your big chance. Riki Rachtman, Stevie, Rochelle from Tuff, Rick Fox, Mark Seduce. Anybody?
I have a question. I have a question for you, Lisa. So where are you now today in all your glory after your appearance in The Decline of Western Civilization, Part 2, The Metal Years?
I moved back to Cleveland, where I'm originally from. I have my mom to look after. I've been out doing marketing for a lot of film companies, so I'm on the road a lot, and then I just kind of fell back into this. Rick Fox happened to mention this show to me, and I looked at who was coming and decided to get involved. It's hard to explain to people who weren't there, but I was working for Rip Magazine when it first started, Music Connection. I'm the first person to interview John Corabi, and his band hated me because I was like, oh, they're horrible, but this guy's going to be a star.
Angora?
Yeah, Angora. I got a whole, it was Angora versus Burnett with better hair, but Angora had John, and John was going to be John, right? So, I know, John Corabi, when you see this, just like, I love you. It's been a million years, but he is one of the best humans. So that's probably my biggest success story as far as a music journalist. But I started shooting bands for the Iron Planet in Cleveland when I was 15, only because the editor was like, ooh, hot chicks with hot friends, and they got a car. So that's how I started interviewing and shooting bands as a teenager. And then LA, Music Connection, Rip Magazine, Cathouse opened on my 18th birthday, and Cathouse was just where you went. It was like our Cheers.
And it was 21 and over.
Well, nobody really cared. If you were like cute and had friends, and we were barely dressed anyway.
So I have another question for Riki. So a lot of people don't all know this, but the Cathouse was not a freestanding building that was open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like Gazzari's was at Gazzari's, the Roxy was at the Roxy, the Whiskey was the Whiskey, the Troubadour was the Troubadour. The Cathouse had its original location, but the next location at 836 North Highland was at a building called Probe. When you think of probing, this was a gay club one night a week. It was a transsexual club one night a week. And then Riki and Tammy had this idea to do a club, but I think they were thinking like, well, everybody goes here on Friday, everybody goes there on Saturday, Sunday is this one. What are we gonna do in the middle of the week? So Cathouse was on Tuesdays only. Why did you guys pick a Tuesday?
Because
you knew there wasn't going to be like everyone's going here on Friday.
I was going to say amateurs go out on weekends. But
amateur night is the weekend.
But that's the stupidest thing.
But it was only one night a week, Tuesday night.
Because I wanted to look for a night that people had to recoup for the weekend. Tuesdays that place was available, and Probe was like, wow, like you talk about, am I allowed to say the word gay bar?
Yeah.
That's okay, right? But it was like a gay bar, like there was some like
Butch
going on there. Like
Butch men.
Fists and things. I think that was one of the clubs there, Fists and Things. But I knew that the truth is that I had DJ'd there when it was a straight like trendy club for a little bit, and I wanted to find a club that I thought nobody that went to the Cathouse frequented the other bar, Fists and Things, which they might have, I don't know.
And they would
but
probably be a little bit more lax on the rules.
And the truth is, the Cathouse, and I said this the other day, is like, the Cathouse truly didn't care if you were straight, gay, trans. We didn't give a shit.
Or
We
Rick
also
Fox.
didn't promote that we didn't care. We didn't say like, oh, we're all inclusive. We just didn't care. So I figured this would be a thing that if there was crossover, I don't care. I just want people to want to have fun. Because all I did was I went to the bars and I said, look, man, I got this idea. You keep the bar, let me just keep the door. I didn't own any of the buildings. The Cathouse was just my brand that I came up with, this no rules idea. And of course, because Guns N' Roses helped a lot. And, but yeah, it was like this gay bar. And then when I opened up another club called Bordello on Thursday nights, Bordello was a gay women's bar. And I figured, well, nobody had been to this gay women's bar. And it was actually, that was a bar that me and Izzy used to go to drink because it was just all women there, but they didn't want us there. But I opened up Bordello, so I found like gay bars to put Cathouse at because I figured they would walk into this place like, wow, what is this place?
And there was
you know?
no logos, there was no sign. It was a nondescript building. You went in a door,
Without
all the
any
walls were
Harleys
black,
in front.
and everybody barfing and kissing and fucking and making out and
All right, guys,
vomiting on
we're
the
getting played off here. We can be here for 3 hours with Cathouse Search. Please go see Riki Rachtman.
I'm over there at a booth if you guys have any
Rochelle's got a
questions.
booth. Rick Fox, we're all here at a booth. Come say hi. Thank you, everybody. Find us all online.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Riki. Rick. Seduce.